So here we are in the television studio, a space where I spend most of my life teaching. And if I'm not in here, I'm upstairs in the gallery teaching a whole range of different technical equipment. And teaching technical equipment can be quite challenging in general, but as long as you've got repeat equipment, so in this case, for example, this camera and pedestal in this studio, I've got 4 of these. It's not too bad in teaching because it means you can split the group into smaller groups, each working hands-on on the camera. I can teach a particular aspect as they all gather around, and then they can have a go at exploring that knowledge, and then I can give another demonstration. So it's well suited to that type of teaching. But the problem number 1 that I experience is that the students often forget what they've learned. Even though it could have been a really good lesson, they often will forget. And that results in me having to teach this over and over again and constantly having to remind people. So that's my problem number 1. The second problem is up here in the TV gallery. It's very difficult to teach up here. And the reason for that is because as you look along these areas where people sit, in each case they're sitting in front of a different piece of equipment which needs very different knowledge, very different skills, each of which needs a bit of practice. And so in order to be able to actually do an exercise where we make the most simple of programs, we need to be in a position where I've got someone sat at each piece of equipment and they understand how to use it. Now that is a challenge because in a way you're teaching one person at a time and yet you've got a group. So what's the answer? Well, the answer for me in this last 12 months has been to produce a large number of training videos where the students can watch these on Blackboard and learn outside of the classroom. So this is a form of the flipped classroom where you take some of the learning out from your normal lecture and let the students do it in advance. And doing it in advance is definitely the way. So I make them, like all lecturers encourage students to do a reading before a lecture, I get them to watch specific videos. And then during the lesson, they actually then repeat the same content. But because they have already seen the video, their learning is much more effective. Now they're getting the hands-on to put into place the learning that they had managed to achieve by watching the video. And I have noticed a significant difference in my first year teaching where students seem to get it. They seem to actually understand what I'm saying, even though I'm talking about some quite complex technical equipment. And to some extent, they are remembering it far better than they had done previously. And the great thing about these training videos, of course, is that if they've forgotten something, they can watch it again and again and again. They can even have their phone with them when they're out on location, and they can look at Blackboard and watch the video if they need a quick revision. So for me, this has been really effective.